Now let's continue on with the face of our character by manipulating the topology for the mouth. Alright, so we need to actually create kind of a loop type geometry that's sort of the same that we created for the eye down here for the mouth. So the first thing that I'm going to do, you can see this is where we left off as far as pulling this down. I want this to be more of the corner, and this will be kind of the flesh that can kind of bulge out around the mouth. So let's go ahead and kind of loop this back in just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and cut this off right here. Go ahead and hit enter. I'm just using the split polygon tool. Go ahead and click on there and route that back up to that. And then go ahead and get rid of that. Alright. Kind of move this up a bit. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and delete these faces. And for the mouth, a lot of times I will, and maybe it's just personal preference, but I like to go ahead and mirror the geometry before I start creating the mouth geometry. Okay, and you can always go back and cut it again, bring it back to the same state, but I find that's a little bit easier as far as extruding and things like that. So go ahead and mirror that geometry. You can see when you do that mirror, if you see a lot of these things in here right along the inside, that means your threshold's set too high. So go to mirror, and let's go ahead and set our threshold down to 0.1. Let's go 0.2 since we've got a few points that are off there. You can see that, snap that one. Now if you don't get them all snapped and you don't want to up your threshold anymore, you can always go in manually, select both of these, and go into edit mesh merge. So I'm going to add that to my shelf. And you see that, just pop those together. Alright. So that gives us a little bit better idea here on our mouth. So let's go ahead and I want to select all of this whole edge. So I'm going to get my select border edge tool, and it's going to select that entire mouth. And at this point, I am going to make basically where the lip or the skin meets the lip. So we'll see what we're talking about. And go ahead and extrude that. And I'm just going to scale it in. And let's just scale it in a little bit. And there's only so much you can do here with the scaling, so you're going to need to come in and actually start moving some of these points. So I'll grab these and pull these out. Basically, the farthest point where that corner is on that lip, as far as where the flesh comes down and then where it curves underneath. Okay, so I'll pull this out, and then I'll pull these out just a little bit and scale them out a bit. Okay. Now one thing you probably want to leave is, you can see that this is actually going inside this corner, and we really sort of want that because as this flesh comes, this corner basically where that flesh meets the actual where the lip starts, as it goes back into the corner of the mouth, it folds underneath, and then you've got this flesh coming out over it. So that's really sort of what we want. So let's take the bottom, and we'll do the same thing. You want to kind of correspond wherever this is going to define on your top lip. I like to make sure that the bottom lip sort of defining the same general area. Okay, we'll pull that out a little bit. And it doesn't have to be just perfect, but okay. And depending on where you put this, you can see that since this is the edge, now if we need to add geometry in here, this geometry is going to be added along this loop. So depending on where you want that to be able to add that geometry, will define where you want that lip to be. Okay. So now it's a matter of coming in here and continuing to work on this. So let's go ahead and continue to extrude. So if this is the corner, extrude again, and make sure that got my edges selected there. Make sure I didn't extrude that already. So go ahead and extrude that again, and this time scale this in. This time, this can be as the lip starts to go in to the mouth there. Okay. And you don't need to shape this too much at this point. Okay. Might want to space some of these apart, but keep in mind, probably going to be adding some resolution here at some point. So just kind of shape it as best you can. But you see how this is the corner of the lip, and then this comes down. And then you want to continue to do that as you move in. So we'll say select border edge, and then we will go ahead and extrude that. Extrude that in, and this time we're going to scale it up a bit. So it's going to curve under and back up. Okay. And then hit G to go and repeat that tool, and then you can move that in. And as you move in, scale up and scale out a bit. Create the interior of the mouth. Okay. Now you can see right here, we've got a long polygon here, which we want to split up. Well, that's going to play right into the fact that we want to split, add some resolution to this eye. Okay. Same thing down here. We might need to add a little bit, but we do have these that we can space out. So in a lot of these cases, the resolution that we need to add down here is actually going to help us because we need to add it up here as well. All right. Okay. So like I said, now we can come in if you want to and split this. If you want to delete half of it, all you need to do is go in. Just make sure you select only the faces on that one half. Delete those. And now you can see you're able to work on this. And the good thing about this is you're also able to work on the interior of the mouth. Okay, because we're going to want to close that off a bit. All right, so let's go ahead and come in one more lesson and continue to work on the mouth. And then we'll work some more on the eye socket, get that all straightened out, and then move on to the ear and some of the rest of the details on the face. All right, so let's go ahead and keep working on the mouth in the next lesson.